At this time, I would ask the parties to introduce themselves for the record.
Tiffany Nelson-Jaworski on behalf of the objectors, TIFFANY-NELSON-JAWORSKI.
David Smith, pro se.
Aretha Burns.
So, once again, what we have here is what I say is a legal issue on the time period for the filing and the type of form that was used. Is everyone in agreement on that?
Yes.
In addition to an incorrect name listing also, which was in my...
So the way I understand it, there's an S missing from Burns. Do you understand what I indicated, Ms. Burns?
He says there's an S missing. I signed my name like I signed my name, and I don't understand what he means that there's an S missing.
I have a copy of her petitions present that I can present as evidence if need be, and she also wrote her actual correct name in under formerly known as, and that's also in my objection.
And I am formerly known as Burns. That's it, that's all.
That's debatable. She's presently and currently known as Burns.
It's not debatable. My name is my name, and that is not debatable.
So
If she's
we'll find
it's
out.
not debatable.
But what we'd like to get to is what I would say is the main issue from a legal standpoint is whether or not the proper forms were filed during the proper period for the proper election.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And are you ready to proceed?
I would like to call I have two witnesses up.
You go second. The objectors go first. They have the burden of establishing their case.
Oh no, I'm saying, can I bring two people up with me?
You're not calling them. Yeah, you could have them. Yes.
Yes, I would like to call Jeffrey and Chris to come stand with me.
Okay. What are they going to testify about?
The petitions that I signed, also the time that I filed. And if I'm being objected to those are witnesses. They were there. They had the same exact issues as I had, which is also possibly going to keep them off of the ballot as well.
My only objection would be the documents speak for themselves. This is a purely legal issue. The documents show from the clerk's office, her petitions were received at 9:01 a.m. on November 12th, 2024.
And that is incorrect. That is incorrect. That is not true at all. And I need the witnesses that were there on the 12th to file and could not as well. And that is why I need those witnesses. I did not file on the 12th at all.
There was also a second dating on her petitions and on her statement of candidacy, which is the 18th of November. Irregardless, she still filed, and we'll get into the nature of why the actual dates are incorrect due to the nature of the documents that she filed.
And I agree with Mr. Smith. I didn't get a chance to finish my statement. I was interrupted. So, as I was stating, the first page of the document said it was filed November 12th. Then, if you go into the document, there says something about November 12th, and then there's another notation that says November 18th at 10:17 a.m.
Correct.
But I think that it doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. It doesn't matter. The filing in November is the problem. If you're filing as a Democratic Party candidate, if you're filing as an established political party, you have to file in the established political party filing period, that was the October filing period, not the November filing period. So that in and of itself, the document, and that's why I say this is not a fact question, this is a legal issue. The document speaks for itself.
And that's where maybe you said more precisely than I articulated. So with regard to this is that you don't even need witnesses from the standpoint of the form that you submitted is for nomination by the Democratic Party to the office, which would have been an election that would have taken place in February of 2025 because it would have been a primary election versus the April 1. Those petitions were due during a particular time period that predates your filing.
Okay, so what I have to say to that, there's only three ways that I can deal with myself being a person newly filing or running as a mayoral candidate. That is through my mayor, that is through our clerk, and that is through our attorney. Now, I was not able to get information from our mayor. I was not able to attend the clerk's training session or information session simply because I was out of town. When I did return, I did try very hard to ask the clerk if she would present to me the package that she presented in her information session so that I can be updated and familiar with the process. I was refused those documents by our clerk. Then so my other recourse was my attorney, which is our attorney, Michael McGrath law firm. So I went to the law firm because I couldn't get help from my own village, and the clerk who was responsible or who oversees the electoral process in our village. So I had to resort to now the attorney. Well, when I went to the attorney and their elections department, I was sent those papers. Now, again, I wasn't very familiar with all of the process as far as, like you were just stating, a democratic process and all of that. I have always voted democratically. Everything I've done has been in a democratic form or fashion. And so my attorney law group sent me and others those forms and said that they were good for me to have signed, those petitions. So dealing with my mayor, my clerk, and my attorney, what other recourse did I have but to take the instructions from our attorney, who was very well versed in Sauk Village government, who was very well versed in the legal proceedings of like you were saying, a democratic primary or so on, opposed to independent. And yet they did not instruct me otherwise. So I'm literally going off of my attorney and the paperwork that they sent me, and no further instructions otherwise. So I don't know I don't know, I wouldn't have known any other way to proceed. I have 100 signatures, and I'm using paperwork that I got from the attorney and the election division of the company.
I'd just like to say for the record, if you were to read the local elected officials manual, they are instructed to not give out any sorts of campaign nomination petitions or anything to that fact. Also, she said, what else was she to do? She could have took it upon herself to read the candidates guide that's given out every year, the 2025 candidates guide, because any necessary documentation was listed in that candidates guide for whatever election was upcoming. So she could have done the necessary research herself. And I'd also like to mention that she definitely should not have been going through our legislative council, which should only be used for legislative purposes and not for personal purposes. And that raises a separate issue that I'll bring up at the next board meeting.
So let me address this. So there's the Illinois Supreme Court 4 years ago ruled that no one can no longer rely on a village clerk to provide information. Mr. Worski mentions Glendale Heights. That case arises out of there where someone relied on information as to the number of signatures that were required. And in the past, the courts had allowed you to rely on what the clerk said. The Supreme Court made it clear you can't do that. Even the voter's guide, the candidate's guide states, you need to retain an attorney that's representing you in the preparation of these forms. While they give you all these forms to fill out, and I'm noticing on your petition sheets, the forms had a February 25th, 2025 date, and that date is crossed off to April 1, 2025. And so I understand the peril that you find yourself in, but when this board looks at these papers, they just have to look at these papers to see that they're not in compliance. And all these explanations, and you got the signatures. I understand how hard it is to get signatures, but the law says that Democratic primary petitions or Republican primary petitions need to be filed long time before this for the February election, not the April 1 election.
So basically, because it says Democrat on it, So basically, I have to have, it's illegal for me to have petitions that says the word Democrat.
Yeah, and the reason why is that the Democratic Party, in this instance, would nominate a candidate. So there'd be a primary election. People that are Democratic are running for the mayor would be elected at the primary election. The winner would then go to the April 1 election and run against individuals that are independent candidates. You do not get to put yourself on the ballot for April 1, 2025 as a member of the Democratic Party without the Democratic Party nominating you through an election, and you go forward. And that's the issue. So this timing period and what you filed doesn't matter really. Those facts don't matter. The petitions that were submitted for April 1, 2025 do not comply with the law.
Then in that case, I'm done. Because, like you said, if my major issue is the fact that I was given Democratic papers, then that's it. My signatures are on Democratic paperwork. Is it anything that I can do?
But you have to. It's just not that. When you look at the paper itself, it states that these are members of the Democratic Party nominating you for nomination as a member of the Democratic Party, but that party doesn't hold an election on April 1, 2025. So that's when you look at the entire paper. So the S missing from your name is not going to be critical. What's critical is the paperwork. And I don't want to speak for the objectors. I don't want to speak for the board, but hearing this testimony as to what occurred is not going to be relevant.
No, I realize that. Okay. And so I'm fine. I'm fine. I realize that.
No, I think we're all on the same page.
Is there a motion to sustain the objection?
Oh, I thought you were seconding. I'm sorry. Yeah, it did sound like that. So if you want me to second the motion, doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it, right? Okay, I'll second it.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to sustain the objection.
Sorry, just to be clear, that's a motion and a second to sustain the objection as it relates to the form of the petition.
That is correct, solely that.
Okay, thank you.
Relates to the form. All those who roll call.
Christopher Cohen, substitute chair. Honorable Robert Bertucci, public member. Honorable Trustee Debbie Williams. The Delgado Group provided a letter dated December 4th stating they are representing objectors in these cases. Mayor Burgess appointed the Delgado Group on 12/10 without board approval. I asked to be recused from these proceedings and I was unable to do so. I feel there is a strong conflict of interest and therefore I abstain.
Motion passes 2-0.
And if I may, as it relates to the binding objection, we will withdraw that objection.
We have a motion to
Separate withdrawal of that.
separate withdrawal.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow the objector to withdraw his objection. All those in
Roll call. Christopher Cohen, substitute chair. Honorable Robert Bertucci, public member. Honorable Debbie Williams, yes.
With regard to the other matters that are raised in Mr. Smith's petition, I would recommend that the board, unless you want to withdraw them, Mr. Smith.
I can withdraw. It's not going anywhere anyway.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the withdrawal by the objector in this case. Roll call.
Christopher Cohen, Substitute Chair.
Aye.
Honorable Robert Bertucci, Public Member. Honorable Trustee Debbie Williams, aye.
Passes 3-0.
But I would recommend to the board, in the matter of Catherine Butcher versus Aretha Burns, case number 24 SVM MOEB 15, that the board find that the objection is moot as a result of the board's findings in relation to Aretha Burns in case 01 and in case 12.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 3-0. Let's move.
I would recommend that this board go into recess until December 23, 2024, at 1 o'clock.
If I may, I would also like to waive statutory service of the decision.
Okay.
Thank you.
On the previous case.
Oh, we did that for the other cases.
Yeah.
We do it for these.
Okay, so I would so move that December 23rd at 1 o'clock. Second final order.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn this matter until 1 o'clock on the 23rd of December.
Christopher Cohen, Substitute Chair.
Aye.
Honorable Robert Bertucci, Public Member. Honorable Trustee Debbie Williams, aye.
Good, passes 3-0.
We'll take a 10-minute break or a 5-minute break so the new board can come up.